he's really involved with the show already, so I don't think it was really too much of a surprise.
I was thrilled that he wanted to direct one.
I felt comfortable with the show, knowing the show and the type of episodes that I liked.
Simon was well equipped to come in and do a great job, and I think he did.
It's easier to direct a show that you're on when you're the lead actor than it is to just sort of knock on someone's door and say, hey, can I direct your TV show? I'm invested in this show, that's why. Action, camera, action. It's okay, sir. I'll deal with it. Mr. Mars, so what brings you back here?
It can be scary and powerful when you're being critical.
Really?
And, yeah, no, really.
What's that noise back there?
You know, the thing is, I can be quite direct. I have strong opinions about certain things, and I'm very respectful of the process.
Mars's only crime is foolishness and fraud. I set him up. Get out of here.
Simon's a real veteran of TV, and he has great TV instincts.
He'll often ask questions of writers and directors that they can't answer because they're actually not as in tune with the material as he is.
I know the sets backwards. I know the characters backwards. I certainly know my character inside out.
When someone knows the show so well, there's no explanation to be done. So you kind of cut out all of that middleman of needing to catch up.
That's what he brings to the table, the experience.
I think the important thing about, for me anyway, and the fun aspect of this episode was working the script with him.
Well, to be honest, you know...
Don't be honest, man.
Yeah, that's a dangerous thing in this business. To work with Bruno one-on-one with a script, it's no holds barred.
He's very much a directing actor. I mean, he's an actor who knows where the camera is, knows what the camera is for.
I think more like a director, and then I reprocess it back as an actor. That's just the way I've approached things.
Some actors just do their lines. Simon is an actor who's looking at the whole scene and the whole story and the whole arc of the thing at every moment.
I have a question, Gary.
For me, the process was fantastic because all of the details that I'm constantly thinking about when I'm just shooting an episode, normally I was able to actually, you know, exercise them and set them free.
Don't move.
Does it bite? You could have killed me.
There's 1,000 decisions to be made every day, and every one of them you have to back up 100% as though you know you're right.
Obviously, when you're directing yourself, you know, what you have in mind and what you're doing sometimes are two different things.
I think for everyone, it's always going to be a different process. So when I was directing, I was committed completely to directing, and then when I'd step onto the mark, I would have to make like, okay, now I'm acting. Action. It's okay, sir. I'll deal with it. Mr. Mars, so what brings you back here?
I'm sorry, I never caught your name.
Patrick. Jane.
Patrick. I can help you.
You can help us. Yeah, come on in.
Thank you.
Lisbon, Sheriff. Remember Mr. Mars?
Yes.
He can help us.
Really?
He can?
He's in virtually every scene. And, you know, I can only assume he's a massive glutton for punishment because to add the directorial workload on top of that and to carry it off well, I thought was a real achievement, yeah.
I need to run to the store, then we should take him out to Keeley's place to look around. I'll be right back.
I don't know if it's fear of failure, but during the process of it, to use all of these other sides of my parts of my brain that only get teased every now and then as an actor, but never actually get used, to actually get out and have to flex those muscles was incredibly invigorating. Like, I had more energy when I was directing and acting than I would normally have just acting because I was like high. I was really high. I was stimulated. And for me, it was a thrill. I mean, it wasn't like a job.
He said, I always promised myself I wouldn't be one of those directors who goes like that, like showing where the camera is. He goes, I'm going to come up through here, I'm going to go around here, I'm going to be... And he was doing a lot of this. He goes, we're going to push you now. I went, you're doing it. And he said it's so funny because, like, you just do. Do you know what I mean? As a director, you do.
Dolly's that way.
One of the things that I really noticed was, out of my excitement and my enthusiasm and my just joy of being able to be in that position and do it, the whole crew just lifted. Like, they were excited. It was like they were making their first movie together. It was fantastic.
Don't worry about it, little lady. Go get yourself a latte. Check your email. Won't take long.
Sheriff, I believe we have some cultural differences here. I think we'll take this gentleman back to Sacramento, question him there. Avoid friction. Come on.
You had her, little lady.
I think the crew love working with him, so they all wanted to bring their best to that episode, and they worked really hard for him, I think, out of respect, and they see how hard he works.
If you watch him as an actor, he's very precise and graceful, and physically and in line readings, that's important to him as an actor.
I approach talking to actors the way I'd like to be dealt with as an actor, and that is to be engaged in the process creatively. Every person is very different. You know, Robin's very cut and dry, you know, and we get on famously. But then as a director, she just wants the technical elements of it.
I think that it's a lot of responsibility directing, and it's very detail-oriented, so he didn't sort of have as much time to maybe joke around and be lighthearted.
Now I think I know what your game is.
Really? I'd be very surprised if you did.
Ouch!
Of course. You're right. The killer is driven by the phases of the moon. That is brilliant. How did you work that out?
I must say there was a little bit of nervousness just on my part, and actually nervousness for him in terms of, you know, because it's a huge job. He's the star of the show, and then now he's going to take on this other thing and direct an episode.
But then once I engaged him creatively and with ideas, he got enthused and then started bringing stuff to it and was excited about it.
We're investigating the Orchard murders. We need a list of all the firefighters that weren't on duty the night before last, and anyone who was supposed to be on duty but didn't show up. I think the familiarity that we had with Simon was a benefit to us because we know how he works.
And it was very similar with Owen as well, and Amanda. They become very different animals, actors, when you're dealing with them as a director. And for dealing with me was the usual pain in the ass.
John Billingsley.
Yes, sir.
Our marks are right around here, so I'll just sort of shove you right into it.
Oh, yeah, gotcha.
He is the consummate TV star. He really does know this medium, and, you know, he will always be very forward at, you know, bringing ideas to the table.
I trust him implicitly. I have to, not just in the episodes that he's directing. Acting and doing well at it is about feeling safe, and in order to feel safe, you have to trust the people around you.
And that's kind of what Simon did. You know, he kind of picked out each person and spoke to us a little bit differently, and gave us what we needed in terms of, you know, what we need as actors, and we were allowed to do what we do. How'd you lose your eyebrows?
Barbecue accident. At home.
And why'd you come into work the night before last?
Stomach bug. Might be it was the barbecue. What's this about?
Your lack of eyebrows. That trust was already there, especially with the gravity of the situation. We wanted him to succeed as well.
Both because he's a great director, and also because when, as an actor, so much of your time is spent trying to interpret what other people are trying to say, it's very important for an actor who carries the show as much as Simon does, that they get a chance to actually mold the material from the start.
He has a very firm idea of visually what he wanted, and that reflected in the start of the episode. It was visually an incredible episode.
There was so much energy and detail in every choice, and I thought the episode turned out really well. It was great.
It just kind of felt like there wasn't really a director there, that it was just, you know, kind of the kids left alone to play.
How any of it can ever turn out good is what blows me away, because you have to be so decisive and you have to commit, and you can't. If you waver, it always reflects.
And then I'll cut. You say, you can help. I can help you, and I'll say, you can help us, and then bring you in. Okay, good. And then it goes all the way back down to the end. Okay, thank you. Well, I enjoy doing it with Bruno. I don't know why, but I want this case.
All right. I have a feeling I'm going to be sorry.
And I'm going to probably do 2 next year, and I'm going to try to hijack him for both of those 2.